What's up, guys? This is On&Off Football, and Joe Barry's still the Packers' defensive coordinator. But who thought he was going to be fired? Not me. Matt LaFleur has held on to him like he's his son. He will not let go of Joe Barry. It was obvious he wasn't going to fire him before the end of the season. Hopefully it happens in the offseason. But one issue is there's so many Packers fans that want to get into the playoffs and think they can get into the playoffs. And if the Packers somehow do get into the playoffs, there's a big possibility that if Joe Barry is partially the reason why the Packers have gotten better on defense, they're going to look at just that. Everything else that Joe Barry has done this season that has been god-awful garbage is going to be overshadowed by the fact that the Packers got into the playoffs because they won 3 straight. And the defense stepped up in those last 3 games. Well, the Packers defense can step up in those last 3 games because they're playing the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears. I don't see how the defense could possibly play bad or any worse than they have been playing. It's not possible. You're not playing good teams this last 3 games. You're just not. So, yeah, of course the Packers can make the playoffs. Of course they can win 3 and go to the playoffs. But Joe Barry is going to decide that for the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are in a spot where they can make the playoffs because they are in a good position where they hold the tiebreaker over the Rams and the Saints. And all they need is the Vikings to lose once to the Lions, and they need to win 3 games, have the Seahawks lose tonight, and they are in the playoffs. But as long as Joe Barry is the defensive coordinator, what do you do? I mean, yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to fire him before the end of the season. There's 3 games left. Okay, say we don't make the playoffs. Say Joe Barry's fired. Okay, that was expected. But really, you have 3 games left. There are so many people that you can pick up that are probably better than Joe Barry. They're going to be good with these amazing first-round picks. There's so many first-round defensive players on the Packers, and they're just being wasted. Devondre Campbell has not looked like himself. I don't know if it's him or it's the scheme or whatever, but it is not good. Like, many people want to see the Packers go to the playoffs, especially after beating the Chiefs and Lions, because it looks like this offense is really coming together. Jordan Love is playing a hell of a season for his first year starting. A hell of a season. I give him all the work. I'm so happy for him. But Joe Barry is basically throwing that out the window. I mean, the Packers, they have a chance to get into the postseason, possibly make a run if that defense steps up in any shape or form. I mean, the Bucks, they dropped 34 points on you. Joe Barry, let Baker Mayfield cook. He is the first visiting quarterback to go to Lambeau Field and have a perfect passer rating. A perfect passer rating of 158.6. That's absurd. Absurd. The only person to ever have that good of a perfect passer rating in general in Lambeau Field is Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers was on the Packers. It's sad. Because we thought the Packers, after being the Chiefs, after being the Lions, after going on a 3-game win streak, they're gonna go run the table. They're gonna win every game. No. Joe Barry decides to do whatever he wants to give the defense no opportunities to stop the Giants, the Bucks. Those schemes that Joe Barry runs are terrible. I mean, 10 yards off the line. Hell, 20 yards off the line. Todd Bowles let the Packers drive like crazy. Their last drive. Scored a touchdown. Okay. But that's what Joe Barry does every drive. That's how Joe Barry has been playing. I'm just pissed as much as you guys are. I don't know what we're doing with this Joe Barry situation. I want to see how these last 3 games finish out. Hopefully the Seahawks lose tonight. Hopefully the Vikings lose to the Lions once. And hopefully the Packers can win out. They have an easy schedule. This is probably the easiest stretch Depending on who the Vikings are starting against the Packers, this is an easy stretch. I don't know. Let's just look at some Joe Barry memes, how pissed everybody is at Joe Barry. I mean, you guys probably saw this one for the whole time while I was ranting. Me on my way to Green Bay to fire Joe Barry because I'm an owner and I do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, that's exactly how we all feel. Everyone, what do you want? This is nothing more than I want this more than anything. For nah, guys, I'm sorry. This is just absurd. I don't know how we're fire Joe Barry. Al Harris, great candidate. Bring him home. Bring him home. No, they don't want to bring the former Packer home. Hey, Joe, just a word of advice. Don't try to cover Chris Godwin with a linebacker. Fire Joe Barry. Yeah, that's true. I'm a lifelong Packers fan, as well as my dad, who is almost 70. And my nephew, also his first game, and his girlfriend took us to our first Packer game yesterday. They are also lifelong Packer fans. Please fire Joe Barry. These guys deserve better. And that's what I've been saying. The offense between these rookies and Jordan Love has never been better. The beginning of the season, we're like, okay, they're going to grow. But this is phenomenal, what we're seeing with this offense. This offense is growing. 29 for 39, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, Jordan Love. No picks. One fumble at the end of the game, but that was already on 4th down. Jordan Love is the future of this franchise. He is the franchise guy. And if you don't see that, I don't know what you're looking at. But this is where we have been for the last 8 years. After Dom Capers, that experiment we had, got fired, we got Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin got fired. Then we bring in Joe Barry, which has never had above a 20 ranked defense. He's always been in the high 20s. 28, 29, 30, 31st. It's always been garbage defense. And yes, the secondary is playing well. They have been playing well. But yesterday was not an example of that. No. That was terrible. It was not good at all. You let Chris Godwin drop over 100 yards. 100 yards on what? 6 to 7 receptions? That's terrible. Terrible. And you let David Moore, who is expecting David Moore to score? Who? You let David Moore go to 2 players. 2. And score a touchdown. That basically killed the Packers that game. Packers gonna need a different defense going into Carolina. Because it's Carolina. They still have a coach that they don't even have yet. They have an interim coach right now. They don't even have... They have nothing. If we lose to the Carolina Panthers because Joe Barry cannot stop Bryce Young or himself from destroying the Packers, it's going to be a long rest of these last 3 games. They're going to feel long as hell, and it is not going to be good. Packers, still a chance. Big chance. They have basically... If they win out, they basically go to the playoffs at that point. Win out, you go. Because the Vikings are not beating the Lions twice. The Lions might bench their starters. But they're not benching their starters week 16. They're going to bench them week 18. Or week 17. Who knows what the Lions are going to do. They're looking for a first seed. So they're not going to bench anybody. So we expect the Vikings to lose at least one. Then you have the Rams. Rams doesn't matter as long as the Vikings don't win. And the Seahawks just need to lose tonight. Packers win out, they're in. I don't care about Joe Barry. If the Packers can make it into the playoffs, I just want this young team to get experience for when they're amazing. They have an amazing defense. They're going to be incredible. This team is going to be a Super Bowl team one day. And I want playoff experience for this team, and I want them to get it this year. So... Packers 3 games out. Joe Barry, fix something, or you're just, I don't know what to say about Joe Barry. I have no opinion on Joe Barry. My only opinion is fire Joe Barry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, go Pack Go.